Alrighty, guys. I was just getting my phone set up. So if you guys want to call in, 928-476-0112. If you have a comment, if you want to skip the line in the chat, just hit that number there and we'll bring you on. We'll take one call at a time. So if you hear somebody talking and then you try to call in, I'm not going to answer the call. Thank you, Lisa, for that super sticker. All right. How many of you have already had a chance to read or go watch my video of me reading the transcripts? If you have not had a chance, type the number 1 in the chat, please. What's up, GP? Jamie. Thank you. JD Sport. You're welcome. Cindy. Page 19, around line number 4. I am very sure the defense did not want Richard Allen to speak out loud. Pardon me. In court with all of those YouTubers and journalists ready to record him. Defense attorneys are negligent. I agree with that. And it's not like Gold was like, oh, I don't want that slimy bastard in my chambers. You know, she already knew what was going down. There's no reason to bring him in there. It wouldn't be a good atmosphere for him, is what she was saying. It wouldn't be productive. What's up, Metal Mama? How you doing? Tam B. I'm doing well. It is a mess. I hope that cleared it. I mean, it pretty much played out the way I thought it would. But I'm glad that they released the transcripts. What's going on, Bird Blue? So we'll play my audio of me reading it, but I'll have the words up on the screen this time and we'll kind of go through it. And we'll stop and go. What's up, Frank Meister? Shout out to Frank Meister. He's the one that originally sent this to me. What's going on, Olivia? Thanks again, Lisa, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Nixon said, Goal said very little, and what was said was well within her right. I agree. I mean, to me, the bottom line is she didn't make any decision. You know, no judgment came from Goal. They left. They could have stayed there, and then she could have fired them. But would that have made anything different? Would that have hurt them? Or would it have been better for them? But they had that choice. And you never know. She could have changed her mind. I agree. What's up, Devoted to Mariah? Baldwin ran out the back door. Yeah, what the hell was that? He goes, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry about these leaks. They were already leaked. Okay, so I quit, right? Are you going to go ahead and have the hearing now? Or can I go ahead and run out of here real quick? Oh, yeah, you can go ahead and run out. You want me to validate your parking? Like, if that isn't proof, nothing ever will be to anybody of what's going on. Right. Trust me, you don't need to be any kind of law expert to see, you know, this is all common sense here. because we forget about the Brandon Woodhouse. I think Rosie was responsible for that. So he sends out the wrong email, the whole discovery file, detailed itinerary, itemized, and they served a search warrant on him for something completely unrelated, and there's their work right there. That's so crazy. So Rosie was responsible for that, and Baldwin was responsible for leaving the stuff out on the table. Google University. Yeah, you won't need that today. This is pretty cut and dry. Thank you. Lisa, me too. I voted for Baldwin running. I mean, if that right at the end, he just showed no remorse. He's like, I don't care about that. Like, don't talk to me about leaks. You know, it's been leaked. But the truth is, it hasn't. I mean, yeah, you have some art, artist renderings that were leaked to Barbara McDonald, maybe some details. But I doubt that she had the crime scene photos. But I know that there are people out there that did have them for some time and they didn't say anything about it. They were that's what they were talking about. Some disgruntled member of the sheriff's office handing out a huge folder. So I figure we'll just listen to my video, actually just the audio, really, of me reading it. We'll stop and go, and I'll put it up on the screen as well. We're about 7 minutes in. At the 10-minute mark, we'll get going. True Crime Talk with Frank Meister. Baldwin did go out back before the hearing started. Yep. He's like, I'm out of here. I mean, he didn't even go see Richard Allen. That speaks for itself. You know, no remorse. It's okay that I did it because somebody else already did it. You know, we learn as small children, right? What's the first thing your parents say? Oh, well, if your friend was going to jump off a cliff, would you? And then you go, oh, I don't know, maybe. Then they smack you. No. So he's like, oh, well, they leaked it. So, what difference does it make if I leaked it? So that just showed no remorse right there. And then you had Rosie kind of like distancing himself in the way he worded it as well. He said, what did he say? He's like, I'm not so related to the recent stuff. He didn't really want to talk about the Woodhouse incident, but he's like, oh, well, that was back then. Let's not bring up old stuff. But I'm not with Baldwin over here, and his crazy friends or whatever. Is it possible if I can just hang out, Judge was like, no. Not because I hate you, not because you came up with this awesome theory, and not because I want to trample on anybody's rights, but because you are negligent. Richard Allen deserves better. She's doing what she's supposed to do. She's protecting the whole, she is the due process. So, of course, we want due process, but the argument for me is I'm seeing it, I'm watching it. Hey, what's up, Doris? Just heard the judge is in the hospital. Oh, yeah. I'm glad that you brought that up. That is kind of some interesting news. A medical emergency. Apparently, she's been feeling ill for the past 7 days and has been checked into the hospital. I wonder what will happen. Cheeks, what's up? Happy Thanksgiving to you. Has been working from home, I believe. If you guys are trying to call in at all and you can't, let me know in the comments. It should be good to go. Yep. Tambi, it keeps getting crazier. What's up, Leslie? Jody Lynn. Thanks, Cheeks. Yeah, I read it. And then I said, I'm going to read it one more time. I was like, well, hell, if I'm going to read it again, let's record it and I'll share it on my channel. So that was literally one take. That's why you hear me coughing and I'm like, ugh. I felt like I was going to lose my voice. It was like 35 minutes straight. Yeah, I'm glad you caught it too, Devoted. We'll get going here in just a minute. Speculation, what's up? Anything I like, what's up? Sandra Ficus, what's up? Tech Death Hippie, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. CJK, what's up? Boston Christian, what's up? Colette. Yep, we were just talking about that. Anything I like might get a new judge anyway, with Judge Cole being ill. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. I was like, interesting. How ironic. Yeah, now that you mention it, my throat is a little kind of it's a little raspy. Hey, what's up, Sandra? What's up, Zero Cool? Good to see you. Yeah, we want due process, but they're all getting it. Actually, more than the usual case. Yeah, we're watching the due process. And you heard Rosie say it himself. I'm the one that called this little huddle. Okay, you called the huddle, and then you quit in the huddle. So the reason there's no due process is because of you. Gall said it like 3 or 4 times. I'll have a hearing. I'll have a hearing on that. You want a hearing? Baldwin's like, no, I'm just trying to create context. Oh, so you don't want a hearing? No, I'm just trying to talk to you, Judge. Jeez. Yeah, lawyers and judges, a lot of reading. I mean, imagine just sitting there for 4 hours straight reading about some law, some old court case. It drive me crazy. Robin B. Good evening, Sleuth. Tonight's evening news mentioned that Judge G has been in and out of the hospital. Don't know if anyone else has heard this today. Yeah, Deb from Deb's True Crime Notebooks sent me the article a couple hours ago. But I think there's a video now up on YouTube if you want to go see it. Don Halford, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you. All right, we can start now. Farmer's here. Jeez, Farmer. You held us up for 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Typical. Charlotte Framboy. Baldwin did run, but after reading the document, I do think Judge Gold didn't act according to due process and create further drama. I would have let them run the crazy theory defense. I would have let them too. See, this is where everybody's confused, I think. They want to blame everybody but who is responsible for what has happened. You can't blame Goal, you know. I'm sure she wanted to hear this out. If that's the direction they want to go. You guys act like she's some kind of Odin knight and she's been put in there to kind of steer things. And they're getting too close to Mr. Big. You know, it's ridiculous. Richard Allen didn't pick those attorneys. Judge Gall did. So if she picked them, you know, come on, guys. Think about it. The truth is, those guys screwed up. And to protect Richard Allen and the trial, they had to go. And instead of taking it like they should have, you know, with what you guys are calling the due process, which they didn't allow, it wasn't Gall's decision. She didn't say, oh, you guys are out of here. It's not what she said. And we're going to listen to what happened right now. It's pretty clear if you ask me. But if you disagree, you can call 928-476-0112 and tell it like it is. Thanks, Frank. 41 likes, 90 in chat. Hit the thumbs up. Damn scrubs. Bunch of scrubs. Don't forget Abby and Libby. That is what it's all about. What's up, Kiwi? Frederica, get some hot tea with lemon. Oh, that sounds amazing right now. I have the worst cotton mouth. I love honey lemon tea. It's one of my favorites. Even just like unsweetened tea, some green tea, some chai tea. Hey, what's up, Amy? Frank, how many times did Rosie say, you know? Well, you know, a lot. Can you guys see that okay? Or should I do it like this? You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, but this is where it's at. No? You guys might be too young for that. Was getting weed. Oh, I'm all loaded up, man. Thank you, Frederica. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, what's up, Mel from Cold Truth? Another great channel. I have mixed feelings. All right, let's hear it. You know, let's hear what you guys think. Today is all about what you guys think. We all know what I think. That I'm pretty much clueless for the most part. Zero Cool. Will it be proper to say that Goal quit if she no longer presides over this case due to being sick? Yeah, probably. Maybe that's what she's doing. This is like her way of quitting. Benjamin Diener's over there in the hospital. Like, I tried to tell you, that damn bloodlust. I tried to tell you, Goal. But one thing, if she does go, you can say, you know, I think that she did do her job. And that's the argument here, is that she didn't do her job, and I'm saying that she did do her job. So if she does go, I believe she can at least say that. In the way she puts it makes it look really bad. Like she lines it up. You totally forget about Brandon Woodhouse, them sending him the discovery, the guy who committed suicide, um, the fact that I was right about the dueling leaks. Remember that? I told you guys there was dueling leaks. There was one that had a watermark on it and one that did not. And that's what Baldwin is referring to. He's saying there's multiple leaks. But what happened was when this leak came out from Baldwin's office, the person who was waiting to leak the crime scene photos that were most likely taken by J. Kyle Keener, I think he was actually fired over it early on. They said, well, here's, I'm not going to get any bang for my buck now. I waited too long. I wanted to kind of have like that shock and awe. But if there's already photos that are circulating, I'm going to go ahead and drop my bomb that I've been planning. Really, it was more of a terrorist act, some kind of sabotage on the case. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe they spent money on the photos. They're like, I need to get my money's worth. Now it's too late. Susan, Richard Allen's attorney screwed things up, not the judge. Yep. People say, well, no, they're going to have to start all over again. Well, yeah, don't blame her. Well, why is she talking so nice to McClellan? They sound like best friends. Well, he's not fucking shit up. Leslie Sleuth, not to mention Judge Gall mentioned that she questioned their competency a year ago. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. About the gag order and the media bulletin they put out. She's all, you guys are just testing me. You've been testing me from the beginning. Thank you, Zero Cool. You guys want to be like Zero Cool. Be 100% cool. He's just being humble. I don't want no scrubs. Yeah. Don't be hanging on the out of the passenger side of your best friend's ride trying to holler at me. What happened to the judge in Indy? What was wrong? Who call? Judge call? Yep, smoking that good ganja. Oh yeah, sudden illness could be like the flu, Tis the season. Thanks again, Sandra. Of my best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. No, I thought that was a call. Fat Boy Slim. Who's that? Heart attack? Cheeks, Rosie likes to talk. I will say, I believe he felt a bit attacked, but he does filibuster a lot. There was a lot of finger pointing in that proceeding. There was a guy in Florida who said a guy in Texas, etc. Yeah, I thought that was interesting as well. It's just crazy how, even the sleuths who are working on these cases behind the scenes were able to map it all out. Not these jokers, but there's people, I'm not going to say their names, but they knew who was doing what from the very beginning. And I'm glad I was privy to it because I was just watching everybody lie and I didn't say anything and I still haven't. But it's just crazy to know that they were able to piece it together. It took McClellan, he said 14 days or some shit. So never underestimate these online sleuths and these what do you call them? Is it like justice fighters? I don't know what you want to call them. What's up, Shadowbox? Good to see you. Sparky, stuff's been being leaked since the beginning, is what I'm hearing. I mean, I've never heard of any crime scene photos. We know there was that leak that happened involving the clothes in the water, things like that. Maybe that was like a partial part of what the other stuff was, maybe. What's up, Ivy? Yep, common sense. You don't need to be an expert in the matters of common sense. Now, if you want me to put it in technical terms, I'll refer you to my lawyer. Every other type of leak pales in comparison to photos of the bodies. There's no equivalent. Yeah, because there's very important details within those photos that tell a story about what happened out there. And if you're trying to conduct an investigation and you have an interview and you have a subject right in front of you and you're asking him specific questions that only the killer would know, well, now everybody that's seen these crime scene photos will be able to say what happened. For a large part, anyway. Violet Dragon, you are speaking facts. Am I? Better double check. Farmer, hold on. No comment on that, Farmer. I've been advised not to speak. No comment. Let's go to Mel. Keener worked for Pharaoh's Tribune at that time. His Facebook post said he was 75 feet away. He could be lying. There was helicopter footage shows two men with fancy cameras. Nope, that's not him. He was actually on the bridge. I have a photo that he took at about 10 a.m. prior to them announcing that they found the girls. And he's on the bridge and he has a high-powered lens. So what I think happened was when Kelsey showed up with that search party, you had a group down by the water and then you had another group up on the private drive. I think he was documenting that. He was watching that and he was part of that group. So when they said, hey, we found the shoe, he's observing everything, but he's also going down where they said, hey, we found a shoe, and he's taking photos. And he could even go up to that private drive if he wanted to. And with that high powered lens, he could zoom right in and get a really good photo. Or he could even be observing from the Ron Logan side. You know, he could come in and say, hey, this is I'm press. And basically he can go up to where they have it taped. Maybe he was taking photos from that side, possibly as well. But with that high powered lens, he doesn't even have to be that close. But it really depends on what those photos look like. I didn't see him. Miss Thang, what's up? Yeah, we can look into the J. Kyle Keener stuff in a little bit. All right, I think I'm caught up on the chat. Thank you, Violet. I appreciate that. Robin, curious, has the court changed the trial date from 10/24 back to January 24? No, not that I know of. I could be wrong. I haven't checked in a couple of days, but I don't see why they would. Could that really delay for justice for Abby and Libby? It might just be something that has to happen. You know, they're probably going to appeal as well. So there may be few trials. Due process. Violet says you go and above and beyond. I appreciate that at Frank Meister. I agree. All right, guys, we're all caught up on the chat. Let me know if you can hear this. Proceedings. Did you hear that? Where it said proceedings. And don't forget at any time if you want to call in 928-476-0112. You don't have to. Just for those of you who want to. Did you guys hear that? Yes, no, maybe so. Sure, we have a 2 to 3 minute delay. Violet said no. Anything I like said yes. Kate says loud and clear. So if she can hear it, then you guys can hear it. You shouldn't be able to hear it now. Here, I'll play it again. Proceedings. Did you hear that? Chorizo and eggs. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Leslie. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Brad from Outside of the Grid? Another great channel. Robin said nope. What the heck? All right, here, let me play a little bit more. Attorney Nicholas McClelland. Judge, I wanted to do some introductions. Can you guys hear that? I finally got approval from our council to hire a paid attorney to... Well, technically it's me again. It's recorded me. Violet says yes. Anything I like says yes, yes, yes. What's up, Richard? Welcome, my friend. All righty. We are good to go. Farmer says, if you guys are all saying yes, I'm saying no. Proceedings. Attorney Nicholas McClelland. Judge, I wanted to do some introductions. I finally got approval from our council to hire a paid attorney to help me, so... The court. Okay. Mr. McClelland. Small town, local government. So this is Jim Luttrell. He's a retired prosecutor from Grant County. He's decided or agreed to come on board. The court. Okay, have a seat. Mr. McClelland. He signed the oath to my office. The court. Okay. Mr. McClelland. And all that, I'm going to handle a written appearance. Attorney James Luttrell. Nice to meet you, Judge. The court. Nice to meet you, Jim. Mr. McClelland. Next week. The court. Okay. Mr. McClelland. Or maybe tomorrow. I have time, Judge, if I get it done. The court. Okay. Mr. McClelland. But he will be entered in, and we're trying to get him up to speed. The court. Okay. Well, good. Attorney Bradley Rosie. Well, I'm the one that kind of asked to huddle up. So if you want me to lead or if you want to say some things, I'm okay with whatever approach you want to take here. The court. Go ahead, Mr. Rosie. Well, I think the court. I've got Jody's got our portable FTR going just so that we're Mr. Rosie. Oh, okay, that's fine. The court. Got a record, Mr. Rosie. Obviously, whatever approach you want to take here. The court. Go ahead, Mr. Rosie. Well, I think the court. I've got Jody's got our portable FTR going just so that we're Mr. Rosie. Oh, okay, that's fine. The court. Got a record, Mr. Rosie. Obviously, I'm happy to hear that the court's going to make some decisions on the pending pleadings today. The court. Uh huh.
Sorry, we're good.
I assume Andy feels the same way. It's time to get some closure, if you will, with regard to those items so that we can move forward. It's probably obvious that the tension from our side is coming, from the words disqualification that were murmured in the phone conference that we had a couple weeks ago. I'm assuming you understand how that kind of raises the intensity level of the circumstances. And I guess if you have concern today, it's that, we're going to go out on the kind of in the public, so to speak, in the courtroom on the record and have a discussion about an ongoing investigation. And that's what I kind of gathered from the email. I think you invited Nick to talk about that if you wanted to. The court. Mm hmm. Mr. Rosie. And it makes me a little uncomfortable because I don't know. First of all, there are no pleadings that are pending, whether they're motions to disqualify or contempt citations or whatever they might be, that really frame any of the issues. And I have no problem. I mean, I don't have any problem talking about this stuff privately on the record and, in an ex parte type confidential hearing. I just think it's difficult to expect that there will be any kind of structure to the idea of, hey, there's an ongoing investigation and just tell us what's going on. And I don't know that it has any relevance to what we're really trying to accomplish today. And I also don't know why Nick would want to talk about an ongoing investigation in public, knowing that in itself could be a little damaging to their circumstances. And so we're lawyers. We're used to having issues framed. We're used to having an opportunity to prepare. And I don't have anything to hide. And I know he doesn't have anything to hide. You've maybe gathered that we've cooperated. We ran into the state police post, our respective post, if you will, and I had somebody advise me of my rights and waived those, and I gave a formal statement. He did the same. And I'm not sure that we're going to benefit or that this will be productive to just open floor this. And that's my biggest concern today. The court. Uh huh. Attorney Andrew Baldwin. I'm more of the due process side. I'm not really sure what will happen, but I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, and I will like the opportunity to know what's going to happen and prepare for their claiming or whatever before it happens. And I feel like I don't want to say ambushed, but it's hard to know for me what to do when I don't know what's happening. There's not a pleading we can respond to, things like that. So you had indicated that when Nick said, I don't know if he said the word disqualification, but the court, oh, he did. Mr. Baldwin, was it that word? The court, mm-hmm. Mr. Baldwin, okay. I didn't know if he just said it in a more generic way. The court, mm-hmm. Mr. Baldwin. And your response was, I'm leaning in that direction or something along those lines. The court, mm-hmm. Mr. Baldwin. And so that That's, a cause of concern. I mean, we're still wanting to try this case in January, and I'm willing to. We have made changes to my office that will prevent this from ever happening again. And we can take directives from the court. We can, we're locking down every single thing on Delphi. It's in a dedicated room. We put locks in our conference room or the war room where this guy went. My friend went in and did this without my knowledge. And no document, whether it's benign or something super, like a crime scene photo, it's ever going to be left alone for a single solitary second ever again. So, I'm hoping that that can be something that the court, can say, all right, that's fine. And then let's get on with the trial. But I'll shut up now. The court. Anything, Nick? Mr. McClellan. Judge, I guess my plan today was give the court a summary of the investigation. I've got witnesses here and exhibits to present that go towards the investigation. I'm more than happy to hand those over to the defense. I know it may harm the investigation, but I think it would be important that the court hear these things. I guess the heart of it, inaudible investigation, I think it's important. I think the importance of you hearing it is outweighed by that. And so I have those things. I'm concerned that the leak is not just a one time leak. The evidence that we have shows it is an ongoing leak. However, it's being done and it's just what's next? I have an issue. What's next? I mean, I spent the past 17 days investigating this night and day when I should have been focused on preparing for trial. And when I say night and day, I mean phone calls at 2 a.m., 3:30 a.m., night and day. And so that's where I'm at, Judge. Again, I'm an officer of the court. I'm reporting to the court what I know, and that's kind of where I see my role. The court. Okay, Mr. Rosie. This is starting to scream due process to me. I haven't seen any of these exhibits, and I don't know really, frankly, I don't know anything about any of this, and I'm not distancing myself from Mr. Baldwin. I'm just saying I have no connection with any of
Mm-hmm.
these people, okay? And the idea that somehow the prosecutor is going to get to roll out a bunch of statements and exhibits and, testimony without us having any forewarning or any idea anyway of scrutinizing that seems a little outside the boundaries of due process to me. Plus, again, I get back to what is the relevance of what is going on in this case. Why we are going to use an open courtroom to air an ancillary matter. It's not really connected in any way. At this point, the proceedings that are ongoing, whether it's the Franks issue or anything of that nature, and I will tell you this, and I am prepared to show the court this, I would rather do it in private. This problem has been a problem from the very beginning. I have 10 pages of a deposition transcript in this file from my deposition, our deposition that I took of Trooper Holman in this case. And in that deposition, he talks openly about how there were crime scene links from the very beginning, unequivocal crime scene links. That as soon as the crime occurred, there were investigating information that had been released because there were lay people that were part of the search party. And the implication is, and I've got the transcript, is that those people that found those girls started to essentially disseminate or distribute information, and law enforcement essentially
Could be talking
try
about
to
Keener.
catch up with them. But it was really too late, as you might expect. Once it gets in the hands of the public, it's too late. So he told us that, almost volunteered that information to me in the deposition. The second concern I have is that I think I shared with the court just an example of a week or two ago. Somebody sends me a court TV, bit, and I can assure you, I've never watched one of those bits on this case. I don't even know if I've ever really watched court TV. Maybe back when Simpsons was ongoing. I don't know. And in that bit, Barbara McDonald is talking. Two different occasions, she mentioned how she's getting information from investigators on the ground that were at the crime scene. Now we can all draw implications about that. But most importantly, it was corroborated by the fact that she was holding in her hand documents that I know to be directly related to the Purdue report. I mean, I saw the pictures. I know where those came from. And if you know, the point here is I'm going to say this maybe a little loosely, but forgive me. I don't care. I don't care that all this stuff is out there because it's
I
been
don't
out there for
care.
5 or 6 years. I don't have time. He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to sit and try to marshal all of this stuff while the case is ongoing because there's no end to it. But the point is, the court needs to come have some context that this is nothing new. I'm super. I lost sleep over the fact that there's a man who's dead and I don't even know. And frankly, and doesn't Andy doesn't know. And it's tragic. I don't know what life circumstances he had or what surrounded this. We've not none of the information has been shared with us. But at the end of the day, what's going on out in the cyber world and in the public, as you might expect in the case, is this magnitude that's been publicized for 6 years was beyond our control before we even got involved. Mr. Baldwin. There's even a guy in Florida who says the guy in Texas who leaked all this stuff has received from a disgruntled Carroll County employee a whole file filled with stuff and photos included. And I haven't even seen the photos that were leaked. I don't know what they are, you know? I mean, if this could be set for a formal hearing in the future where we have a chance to do it
Dueling
the right
leaks.
way, then that's one thing. But, to go in there and we don't have any way to counteract anything. If I know what it is, I can, oh, okay, I know what that is, or I don't know what that is. And it's in the meantime, we can, I don't know. We honestly, this is the worst, lowest point of my career right now
Wah,
because
wah,
somebody did what
wah.
they did to me. And that has nothing to do with
Poor
Richard Allen,
me.
the court. It certainly does not. Mr. Baldwin. Richard Allen needs to have counsel there. So I just don't want to go in there and not be able to fight back with evidence that we or witnesses that we have to counteract whatever they claim that they have. So the court. Okay, here are my thoughts in no particular order. I don't know how many folks are out there, and I certainly don't wish to air publicly to the world the concerns that I have about this matter. The intent in having this hearing was to go through some of the pleadings that we have not yet decided. So I was going to start with reminding everybody about the decorum order, reminding everybody why we're here, to shut up, etc. There have been reports to my sheriff about disruptive people, and I will remind people if they are disruptive, they will be removed, and my sheriff is fully prepared to execute arrests if necessary. Because I know we've seen in our other hearings, people have been disruptive and hateful. So, under the rules, under the canons of judicial conduct, I'm required to advise people within the room that the media is here and they are filming. They're doing pool coverage. So, there's only two cameras in the courtroom and everybody going to get coverage from that. And then I want to talk about the pleadings. Defendant filed a verified motion for immediate transfer of custody. The state filed its response. The motion again has a lot of inaccuracies and some speculation, and it has been refuted, able, I think, by the affidavits and
You
have been
know, you
submitted
know.
by the state, and I'm going to deny the motion. The defendant then filed a motion for broadcasting order. The state filed its response. Your motion's overbroad. It's got a lot of irrelevant verbiage in it, and I am required to consider individual requests for hearings, so I will. And the media wishes to have an individual request submitted. They know fully well how to do that, and I'm provided to counsel all of those requests that I've gotten so far for this hearing. So if you want to file them for particular hearings, you're certainly welcome to do that. But the media is all over this, and they know how to do this.
The
Mr.
bloodlust.
Rosie. Yeah, I was just trying to understand. Are you suggesting that you're going to determine that on a case by case basis or a hearing by hearing basis? The court. Hearing by hearing. Mr. Rosie. Okay. The court. Yeah. Mr. Rosie. All right. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood that. The court. The state filed its motion for leave of court to subpoena the third party records. I think that was directed again to DOC. I clearly can't grant that. I'm going to grant the defendant's motion to quash. But if you continue to raise his medical and mental health and pleadings, that's fair game then for that to be provided to the state. You have also filed, Mr. McClelland, a motion for future pleadings and filings to be sealed prior to being released to the public. I've not gotten a response from the defense. Mr. Rosie. Can I speak on that?
I
The
agree,
court.
Bianca.
Sure. Mr. Rosie. I think it's important to note that, We had this discussion sum up before, and there was basically we decided, okay, we're done sealing stuff. We're going to make it public. I had before we filed that Frank's brief, I had a long conversation with the court reporter Karen Allen. We're in Delphi because I wasn't sure about Allen or Roller. I always want to call her Karen. Mr. McClellan, Allen, Mr. Rosie, Karen Allen, because I wasn't sure about the mechanics of how all of this stuff was moving from Delphi to your office. And I know that you had set up some kind of website or something that people could
He's
access.
pleading
I
ignorance.
was under the understanding and speaking with Miss Allen, I'm not blaming her for anything, but that when we file these things, we're going from them and they were hitting a button. We were filing with Carroll County. They were hitting enter and they were sending it to you, and you
Sup,
were
Ruckus?
essentially filtering the stuff, or at least you were seeing it before it became public. The court, nope, Mr. Rosie. And so that's the way in talking with her, that's the way I understood the mechanics, which I think is what happened to the pleading the other day, from what I understand. We filed something and you either put it in the queue. I think anyway, I tried to do some homework on that, and that's what Mr. Baldwin, I was a part of one of those conversations, and that's what she said, the court. So does that need a hearing?
Pathetic.
I'm happy to have a hearing on that. I don't have a problem with that, Mr. Rosie. Well, I don't really, I guess I'm just telling you for
Oh,
context. That's what
where's your due
Mr.
process?
Baldwin. I mean, could there be a happy medium of we file in confidentiality and then so the judge then gets a chance to review it first? Because that's what we thought was going on anyway. But if that's not what's going on, the court, no, it's being filed confidentially. If you mark it as such, Mr. Baldwin, I know. Yeah, I know that now. The
Needed a
court,
drink.
I had my staff mark the memorandum confidential after it had been filed and disseminated to the public because the actual warrant was in there, and that's covered under miscellaneous cause number. I'm happy to have a hearing, Mr. Rosie. Well, what is your ruling? I guess to make sure I understand, I don't want to fight about something that we don't need to argue about. The court, I haven't ruled on that, Mr. Rosie. Okay. The court, I haven't filed a response in that, Mr. Rosie. Yeah. The court, my question is, do we need a hearing on that or do you wish to file a response? The Frank's motion clearly needs a ruling, and I'm working on that. The motion and exhibits are about 1,500 pages, and there are hours and hours and hours of interviews that have been made available that my IT staff has now cleaned to make sure they're okay. We already talked about that. And then, I mean, that brings us to my concerns that I had that I raised with all of you on our phone call. And I write everything out. This is what I intend to say in open court. I have concerns regarding the defense team and the totality of the circumstances surrounding the representation of Mr. Allen. Candidly, my concerns began at our hearing on November 22nd of last year. Mr. McClellan filed a motion for a gag order, and we were in chambers, and you assured me, gentlemen, we don't want the media in our lives. We will not try this case in the media. And less than 2 weeks later, you issued an undated press release that contained an awful lot of information that would not normally be
Mm-hmm.
revealed. I don't know. I think you knew or should have known those were potentially violative of Rule 3.6 of the Rules of Professional Responsibility. But it is that press release that prompted me to issue the order December 2nd, granting the gag order until further hearing. April 18th of this year, you filed a notice of tort claim against the Department of Corrections. You stated in that notice that it was your intent to pursue our client's claims against you. The full amount of damages sought on behalf of my client is unknown. I don't know how you could do that representing Mr. Allen in a criminal matter and then launch off into a civil matter. I think that's inappropriate. May of this year, we were notified by the state of Brandon Woodhouse arrest and the subsequent discovery of your work product. And I think it was an outline that you created for yourselves with the discovery. It was pretty detailed. I don't know if that's the right word. That apparently happened in December of last year. And that was not revealed to anybody, not shared with the court. It wasn't shared with you, although apparently you guys knew about what was going on. Mr. Baldwin, he didn't know. The court, you knew. Mr. Baldwin, I did know. The court. So then Mr. Woodhouse gets arrested, and here we are. Grossly negligent to email that to the wrong Brad. You're pleading on the safekeeping order contained inaccuracies and falsehoods. That was proven in the hearing we conducted in June. The evidence presented by the state clearly demonstrates the falsity of your claims, and that was very troubling to me. And then the last couple of weeks that we had been dealing with, the state provided you discovery that has been severely compromised. We now have an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to call it a criminal investigation. I don't know what it is, but it's clearly being investigated by the state of Indiana. Everyone involved has sought counsel, including you, Mr. Baldwin.
Remind me, Peace Train, I
You've
have it.
had an attorney enter a written appearance this morning. I don't want to get into the investigation candidly. You are a constitutional authority for the state of Indiana. If you choose to pursue it, that is up to you. If you choose to abandon it, that is clearly up to you. I'm glad to hear that you have cooperated, but Mr. Baldwin's attorney has clearly shared. I don't know if you've seen his pleading. Mr. McClellan, I saw it, Judge, yes. I got it kind of late. He re-emailed us and then the court, okay. Mr. McClellan, I saw that it was filed on the way here. The court, well, yeah, so he's clearly shared it in his pleading, down to the fact that an individual has committed suicide. He included the fact that you left materials all over a conference room table accessible to anyone. And this is a friend of yours who's apparently you have consulted with on the case. So again, it's up to you if you wish to pursue that. I'm looking at the totality of the circumstances, When I look at a suppression and a case law requires me to look at the totality of circumstances, and that's what I'm doing. And it pains me to say this, but the totality of these circumstances demonstrate gross negligence and incompetence on the part of the defense team. I am unsatisfied with your representation of Mr. Allen. I am gravely concerned about his rights to have competent, non negligent representation. He currently doesn't have that right now because what you have demonstrated is negligence and incompetence. Now, I am sharing my thoughts with you privately. I don't want to say this in open court. I would encourage you to talk privately about what you wish to do. I don't want this coming out. It is not where we need to be with this case, but I will. But you don't know that. You have just now been made aware of my concerns and where I'm landing. So if you wish to have a private conversation, I would encourage you do that. I don't believe your client is here yet. No, he's not. Clearly, you'll need to speak with him as well. So, Mr. Baldwin,
Which Baldwin does
I'm not
not
good
do.
at reading between the lines. The court, you're a lawyer. That's what you do for a living. Mr. Baldwin, when you say have a private conversation, are you talking the four of us or the court? I'm talking about you. I am not accusing the state of gross incompetence and negligence. I'm finding gross incompetence and negligence with you, Mr. Baldwin. So, Mr. Rosie, forgive me. Go ahead, Mr. Baldwin. No, Mr. Rosie. I mean, obviously, reading the tea leaves here, that you're giving us a chance to do is bow out gracefully, if you will, if that's the right term. Is there a scenario where the court would accept if I stayed in the case? I mean, I'm not I'm a team player and I'm not the kind of guy to just bail out on somebody just for the sake of doing it. But I think it's obvious that he can speak differently, but I'm not as connected to some of this most recent circumstances as he is. Mr. Allen is in a situation where he's going to have counsel, that he has new counsel. It's going to take them a year to get up to speed with the depth of information that continues to come in. And so I think that his Sixth Amendment rights matter. And, I'm probably the one that can at least move this thing forward with some sense of judicial economy. I don't like it, and that's not what I intended to do when I came in here today. But that would be kind of a worst case scenario on our side, I guess. And so, is that an option the court would entertain? The court, no,
She's like,
Mr.
hell
Rosie.
no.
So basically, what you're saying is you guys either quit in your own accord or you make me fire you. That's what the court, no. I'm saying to you that this is what I plan to say in court on the record when we convene at 2 o'clock. Mr. Rosie, well, so is the culmination of that you're removing us from the case? The court, I will, based on I've just shared with you, Mr. Rosie. Okay. Well, I just want to make sure we're the court. And I'm just giving you the opportunity to have a conversation, which, how do you want that to go? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, but I will if I have to. Mr. Baldwin, should we bow out gracefully, as Brad says? How would we even have a hearing? How would that go? Because if we're out of the case, then, Mr. Rosie, then you're going to go ahead and rule on a bunch of stuff without lawyers in the room? That's the court. No, I would not do that. If you decide that your best course of action is to file a motion to withdraw, you can do that today.
That's on
And
you,
I'll send
fool.
Mr. Allen back to the DOC after you've had a chance to speak with him. Mr. Baldwin, would that happen before the hearing or after the hearing? That's the court. Your motion to withdraw would happen before the hearing. Mr. Baldwin. Okay, that's what I
Okay,
wanted.
good.
Yeah,
That way I can escape.
the court. Yeah, because that's he has rights, and I don't want those rights compromised by having a hearing with him not having counsel. I assume if you choose to withdraw, that his financial situation hasn't changed, and he would still be entitled to court appointed counsel. I can't imagine that he has the ability at this point to hire counsel. I don't know that. Mr. Baldwin, Brad and I need to go talk. The court, yes, you do. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. McClellan, yep, thank you,
You're
Judge.
damn right you do.
The court, thank you, Jody. Court reporter, you're welcome. The court, okay, yes. Mr. Rosie. All right. So obviously, we're kind of trying to figure out how to address this issue with very short notice, very little notice. The first thing we did is really to talk to the client. The court, Mr. Rosie, our client is a big part of this, the biggest part of this. And he has communicated to us that he does not want us to withdraw from the case. He wants us to continue with his representation. He understands, I think, that he's not the gatekeeper, or he doesn't have the authority to really force the court to do that. He would like to say that on record. We asked him if that's what he wanted to do. We suggested maybe he would do it in the chambers. It seems a little bit of a difficult position to put a man who's accused but not been found guilty, put him in a courtroom and have him, have to speak in the circumstances with 15 minutes notice. Andy, I'm going to speak for myself. I'll let him speak for himself. I'm going to file a motion to withdraw. I don't want to do it, but I don't think that I have a choice at this point. The options I've been given without any notice by the court really are either I withdraw or I'm going to be publicly shamed, and that's the way I see this. And I think that the public shaming is there's not only a professional element to that, I think there's a personal aspect to that too. But when the media is teed up like this, and we show up here today with the court having told us that we were going to conduct some business, that somehow bleeds over into forced resignation or whatever you want to, however you characterize this. That, I don't feel like I have any other choice professionally. I have a life beyond this courtroom and beyond this case, and I have a family too. I have a law practice. But I think we've been
He's
given some
bailing.
notice of what we were actually, if this would have been framed in a pleading format or some formal disciplinary claim, which there's a process for that in our business, then we could have come in here today with the opportunity to refute some of those things that you clearly had, thought through and prepared before we
Right,
got here.
cheeks?
And we didn't have the opportunity, and it's the idea that I'm going to have to go in here in an open courtroom and essentially defend myself against claims that I don't agree with without any notice and without any opportunity, I think is unfair. But I also have some common sense. And me going in there and standing my ground because my client wants me to is just going to make things worse for him And so I'm going to withdraw my appearance. I'm going to walk out of here. I'm going to go down to my car. I'm going to call my staff and have them prepare a motion. And I'm going to withdraw my appearance. But I'm doing it because I don't think I have any other choice professionally. Not because I want to, and not because my client wants me to. And I respect the court has an opinion, but we're professionals and we can disagree. The court, of course. Mr. Rosie. And I'm extremely, I'd say frustrated, probably a soft word, with the idea that we've showed up today without any real opportunity to prepare for any of this. And I just think it's improper. And that's where I am. And that's my position. The court. Well, I think we talked about when you asked for a disqualification, and I indicated on our phone conversation I'm inclined to do that, Mr. Rosie. It was a phone conversation. That was not on record. And then some follow up emails. The court. True, Mr. Rosie. There's an informality to that. The court. True, Mr. Rosie. And you also said that you hadn't even done any research and you hadn't, had time to talk to your senior judge and all the other things. And he hasn't filed a pleading with the court either. The court. No, I'm doing this on my motion. Mr. Rosie. And I'm a lawyer who practices in lots of courtrooms. And I've been through some disqualification actions. In 20 years, I've never had a disciplinary complaint in my life that's been confirmed, if you will. But I've seen lawyers disqualified, and there is a process for that. And it's not this. With all due respect, where you walk into somebody's office, a judge's office, and they read a prepared statement to you, and essentially that statement is an indictment on my professional, activities. And then you're handing essentially a sheet of paper with with two options. And one of them is, I'm going to go out here and shame you, or you can quit. You can understand how upset that would make any lawyer. And I don't think it's the right way to handle this from the due process standpoint. So I have no choice but to, withdraw my appearance, because I'm not going to go in
No
there and take the
choice but
public
to
shaming without
withdraw
having any
my
notice of it.
appearance. You heard
I
it
just,
there.
that's where I'm at with it, Mr. Baldwin. I'm the same, withdrawing. The mere what
I'm
he
out.
said. I mean, I do appreciate giving us the advance notice. If there is some appreciation for that, I do appreciate that. But beyond that, I wanted to take this, I wanted to take this and finish it out. I'm stunned. I don't know what to say. So I'll just say I'm moving to withdraw orally. The court. Okay, Mr. Rosie. Is the court going to generate some further instructions on what to do with all of the discovery that we have? And the court. I already have. Mr. Rosie. All of this information in the court. There's an order. I granted the state's protective order on discovery. Mr. Rosie. No, I'm talking about my possession of all of this information. Am I to take it out to the trash can? Am I supposed to wait for another attorney? Is the court going to give us some guidance on how to move all of this information from one law office? The court. I did, Mr. Rosie. To another? The court. When I granted the state's protective order, I think it's the last paragraph of that protective order directs you to return it all to the state of Indiana. All the copies of all the whatever you gave them, they are required under that order to return to you. Mr. Rosie. At the conclusion of the case, the court, or your representation, Mr. Rosie. I know what order you're talking about. I read the order before I came today. The court. Okay, Mr. Rosie. So we're supposed to just take everything back and give it to the state and
Why
then just
you asking
retain our
that,
work
fool?
product until somebody asks us for it? The court. Your work product is your work product. I mean, I would hope that you would share that with successor counsel. I would hope that you would help successor counsel just with the transfer of all that information, because that's in your client's best interest to do that. But that's entirely up to you. That's your work product that you have developed. I mean, clearly the discovery is required to go back to the state. Mr. Rosie. Okay, thank you. What do you want to do with Mr. Allen? The court. I can transport him back to the Department of Correction. Mr. Rosie. Do you want to make a record with I think it's appropriate that the court let him speak into the record his thoughts, unless the court just accepts that as notice that those are his opinions. The court, well, you wouldn't lie to me about that, Mr. Rosie. I would not lie to you about anything. The court, so of course that's your representation. That's what he would say
agree,
if
Kate.
he were brought in here. I can't imagine the DOC being comfortable bringing him into my office. I would not be comfortable having him in my office. Mr. Rosie, would the court also be inclined to mark as an exhibit
I don't
the
want that dude
prepared
eating all
statement
my
so that it's
paper.
part of the record? The court, I have the record rolling. Mr. Rosie, okay. The court, yes. Mr. Baldwin, so we're going to leave, I guess, and you're going to, how is this? You're just going to get up on the bench and say, the court, I will just indicate to Mr. McClellan going to be in there with Mr. Luttrell, and I'll just say we've had a turn of events and defense counsel is withdrawing, and that's all I'm going to say. Mr. Baldwin, can you wait for us to get out of here? The court, of
Slimy
course.
Baldwin.
And we can have you, I don't know where you're parked at. We have a hearing set for October 31st that I'd like to keep as trial setting and appointment of new counsel. And if you can get things together by that date to return to Mr. McClellan, that would be good. Otherwise, if, with your permission, I will give successor counsel your contact information. Mr. Baldwin, okay. Mr. Rosie, okay. The court, where are you parked? Mr. Rosie, nice to meet you. Sorry. Mr. Luttrell, inaudible. Mr. Baldwin, just right out there in front of the building. I mean, there's a parking lot. There's a little parking lot right in front of the building. I don't know. The court, everybody's in the courtroom, so I don't think that there's anybody out in the hallways.
Cindy.
Mr. Rosie, I'm going to go get my staff member. I'm going to have her. I don't need any, well, rendezvous at some point and try to get the stuff back. Mr. McClellan, okay, that's fine. Between Steve and I and Sarah and you, Mr. Rosie, okay. Mr. McClellan, we will get it all. Mr. Rosie, that's fine. Mr. McClellan, done. That's either Sarah, Mr. Rosie, thank you. The court, thank you. This concludes the proceedings had in camera on October 19th, 2023 in this cause.
Bam. Clear as day, guys.
All right. I'm closing down the phone line. Now, does anybody believe that that is not clear? that was not clear. You know, they did have a choice. She could have booted him out there, and then they could have acted upon that. But instead, they said, no, we don't want you to come out on public record. Sorry. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry, I'm unplugging a bunch of stuff. All right. Phones are officially shut down. Let me remove that. And if you do want to call in the last 15 minutes, I'll give you a link. But we're going to, I think we're going to close her down here in a second. Boom. There we go. Okay. So if these guys quit, how can you have due process? You can't do anything. You got to get Richard Allen back, get him out of the courtroom, and then you got to get new attorneys. So if you're complaining about due process, in my opinion, you can thank Richard Allen's attorneys. Well, previous. I don't know, Bianca. What is this, the third degree? I'm just kidding. Might be time for a break for you. CJK Allen is a liar. Cindy, I will be on table for pickup. CJK agree. Hey, Julianne, I didn't see you come in. Where's Shane Evans? He is chief deputy prosecutor. The prosecution hired another lawyer to help. I'm sure he's in there somewhere. Thank you, Farmer. Thank you, Devoted. Frederica, well, you can't get justice for Libby and Abby if you've got a crooked judge. I don't see how she's crooked. Everything that's happened, I don't blame her. I feel like she was put in a tough situation. And that's the reason they put her in charge. And that's why Benjamin Diener bowed out and recused himself, because he couldn't handle those types of situations. She handled it fine. Even the public can't handle it. They're like freaking out. This is what I see from these crazy people. When they talk about this case and how they want Richard Allen free.
Oh, the anger sharks are swimming.
You're like, what the hell? Forever Young, we'll see. Chorizo. Bianca, why would 50-year-old 5'4" family man, fatmacist, who has never been in trouble, do this horrible crime? I don't know. Why? Why did he? I'm sure he has a reason. He's going to have to explain that to a jury. Kayla says she is not crooked. She might be, but nobody has shown me any signs of that. I haven't seen any of that yet. If I did, I'd be happy to say something. That's just not what I'm seeing. Lisa says it's clear. I like that because it saves me a ton of time and you read better. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was just like, I'm going to sit down and just read it. That's how I have to read. I was like, I'm just going to start recording this shit. I'll just read it out loud. But it was a lot harder on my throat than I expected. Peace Train, Bam Bam. Frederica, one of these nights I might call you. Yeah, I'm going to start opening up the phone a lot more. Maybe every time. Maybe even just like the last half hour or something. It's super easy to set up. Bianca said, of course, it's not clear to Bianca. It's not clear. They said they withdraw their appearance for that hearing, not from the case. Oh, see. Now you're just lost at this point. I would recommend going back and listening to it again. The link, if you just want to skip the live and go directly to the reading that I did, the link is in the description. CJK, there are many killers who commit one crime in their lifetime and not as teenagers. Who knows why depravity starts when it does? Or let's say he did commit another crime and he never got caught for it. If he is the killer, he got away with this one for a long time. When I look at the totality of the crime, I see a sophisticated criminal anyway. Specifically, him coming forward. Man, I remember doing something bad in school as a young kid and knowing, hey, if I don't come forward and like say something, then they're going to know that I was doing something bad over here. So and I was a sophisticated bad kid. So I could totally see him saying, hey, or maybe even sitting down with somebody and them explaining to him like, hey, did somebody see you? Yeah, I saw 3 girls and possibly one. The one maybe didn't see me so good. All right, well, you're going to have to come forward. Be nice, Cheeks. She's entitled to her opinion. I highly doubt the Supreme Court will go against the judge. Maybe they will. I just don't see why. I can't see, you know. Thanks, Sleuth, for all your time and reading for us. You got it, Susan. Farmer, like I feel this dude is probably guilty for all or a lot of this crime. It seems like it's become clearer. Hope charlatans don't F it up. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened in a case. Troublemakers coming along and changing the narrative like a wave. Devoted to Mariah. Dominique, why would anyone do any crime? I don't know, but there's a shit ton of crime. Thank you, Leslie. Sean Slew, thank you for the reverse image of Bridge Guy. I was able to see the tattoo on the back of his left hand better, definitely lighter complexion than Richard Allen. Oh, okay. You're welcome. Sparky, thank you, Sleuth. Job well done, my friend. Thank you. Give a shout out to Sandra and Leslie for sponsoring today's live stream. Thank you. Sparky, thank you, mods chat. Hope you all have a very blessed Thanksgiving. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Be safe, drive safe. Don't argue politics over the dinner table. You know who I'm talking to. Talking to you. Thanks, Frederica. Thanks for chatting it up. We don't all have to agree. It's no big deal. I don't think so, Kate. I think they just agree with each other. Farmer. I can't wait. I love Thanksgiving. Oh, man. I just cannot wait. I need to get some of those pregnancy pants. True crime and other stuff. What's up? Later, I have to go on baking cookies. Later. Oh, I love this time of year. They had Christmas music on the radio for the first time. I was like, I love it. Bianchi and Bianco mean white in the Italian language. Dun dun dun. It's an Odinite. It's an Odinistic Odinite. Odinizing in the chat room. New merch holiday pants. Boom. Hit me up on the Discord, Farmer. That's a great idea. Design ideas. Hit me up. Oh, I love it. It already feels great. I mean, the weather is already good. You know, it's not too cold out here. All right, guys. I'm all caught up on the chat. Looks like that's it. Thanks for hanging out. If you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat. If you're part of the replay crew, let me know what you think. Let me close out the poll. See where everybody was at. Cindy Hudson, Sleuth, were you surprised by any of this? Nope. Not one bit. It's exactly as I expected it.
Don't listen to.
I mean, we had all the details. We went over the emails. Me and Frank talked about that. All right, so the poll question was, did Gold force Baldwin and Rosie to quit? This is interesting. Here, we'll start from the bottom and go up. 12% said either way, it wasn't her decision. See, and I'm kind of right there. It doesn't matter. You know, they didn't wait and see what was going to happen. They didn't face the firing squad. And like she said in the transcript, she hadn't made up her mind or didn't make her decision. She's just telling them what she plans to read, you know, before she makes her decision. But at one point she says, yes, actually, yeah, I do plan on giving you guys the boot. But bottom line is she can always change her mind. And she hadn't made the decision. It wasn't her decision. They made the decision. They being as in the defense team. 19%. Baldwin ran out of the building. Yeah, that was a good one too. I think I'm either that one or either way, not her decision. One of those two. 27% said yes, very unjust, no due process. I agree. There really wasn't due process. But once again, whose fault is that? You can't blame Goal. It wasn't her decision. At the end of the day, those two gentlemen withdrew. That is the fact. So I'm hoping that was clear, made clear by this live stream. And the winner, of course, 42%. Both were negligent, which is most likely the case, right? All right, the verdict is in, guys. Leslie, pregnancy pants. Yeah, it's a hack. Gotta get all those tamales in there. Raining all day here and I'm just napping. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Open all the windows, let that cool breeze come in. Listen to the rain kind of fall off the house. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Thank you, Devoted. Devoted says, leave a comment on the way out to help Sleuth out. Yeah, hit the like, hit the thumbs up too. You must have picked up the wrong pipe. Who made a Jew joke? I don't think anybody made a Jew joke. I hope not. It's like you're being a little sensitive. Thanks, Sleuth. Enjoyed the live. Hey, thank you, Rob Lee. Later, thank you much for your time. Thank you, Violet. Thanks for participating. No, it's not. It's not an Italian joke either. Oh, I think I missed something. May all of your turkeys be moist and may no one refer to them as such. I hate that word. Yeah, that's one of those words, huh? Kind of look around when you hear it like, did they just say that? Taboo. Over time, certain things, they just become taboo. Good night, Olivia. Good night, Leslie. Miss Thang. Happy Thanksgiving. Ficus, thank you. Dominique. Dominique says, I've seen good lawyers talk judges out of all sorts of things. Yeah, I feel like they didn't use the right, wasn't the right approach. They came in hostile, almost like they should have been the ones with something to say when really there was a pile of shit that they were carrying on top of them. I don't know. They really must have expected it because at the end of it, you can tell Baldwin, after he went through all of his lawyer tricks, he finally was like, okay, how do I get out of here? Can you validate my parking? Is that it? We good? What about Richard Allen? He's cool. You guys got him? Yeah, Rosie's got him. All right, I'm gonna sneak out the back. Yep. Clear as day to me. Zero says, pro Richard Allen guilty people remind me of the pro COVID and mask wearing folks. Kind of is. Yeah. It's like a personality, political. It all has to do why people are drawn to certain things, right? These like minded types, hive minds. They move in a mob. You know, when one kind of starts to stray, these slimy, like octopus tentacles reach out and pull them back in, like crabs in a bucket. Thank you, Sean. You too. Holiday season instead of Thanksgiving. No, it's Happy Thanksgiving and it's Merry Christmas. And I'm Native American. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Yeah, it was his idea to huddle up. His idea to have a powwow, right? Karen D, I'm on replay. What's up, Karen? In my opinion, the transcript shows they wanted it done in chambers as well. Now they're having a temper tantrum to distract from their colossal ongoing mistakes. Right. It's all lawyer tricks constantly. You know, there's always an angle to play, right? Kind of like a salesman. A good salesman always has an angle. Even on the way out, in defeat, you know, there's still an angle to be had. Shout out to Australia. All right, guys. That's it. That's all of my time. Shout out to everybody who was able to catch the live stream. Shout out to the replay crew. Special shout out to Sandra and Leslie. Thank you for the sponsorship and the whole crew. I want to send you, do you have a P.O. box? Smallpox? Blankets? What? Don't be sending me no blankets. I'm having flashbacks. No, but I do need to get a P.O. box. And if you're planning to send me Hatch chilies, yes. Good night, Sean. Amy in the U.S. has a great Thanksgiving. Same to you. We don't have a justice system. We have a lawyer system. Yeah, I don't know if I would call it justice. I don't know if I've seen justice, really. It's just like, how close can we get this time? Oh, that'd be cool. Wow. The Messiah. The King of all Kingstons. Oh, that's funny. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Take care. Be safe. I should see you guys tomorrow. Sorry there hasn't been any true crime in the morning. It's pretty much a holiday weekend over here, you know. Kids' schedules, everything. So hasn't been a whole lot of time to put content together. But I'm glad I was able to catch you guys tonight. Catch you later. Peace.